Probably my own question is going to be around seed, because this is an area where ICRISAT and CARO have been working over the last decades, making sure that crops like sorghum and millets, they have improved seeds. I think a number of varieties are available, but we have not really seen a lot of efforts in terms of, getting the seeds, in the systems. We see a lot of agro dealers still just having the usual maize and groundnuts. Is there anything really that we can work together to make sure that the farmers are first of all aware that there's improved seeds to these for this type of crops? Secondly, is there any way that we can again work with private sector, the agro dealers and seed companies, to make sure that they prioritize crops like these? As you said, the ourselves are probably a better place for other crops than maize. Yeah, so over to you, Professor Hamadi.
I think the ministry is working closely with the private sector. We have regular meetings every 2 weeks. The ministry is also working with agro dealers as we implement input support program called the Smart Subsidy Program, where we use the e-voucher to empower the farmers to access soil testing seeds and some agronomic advice, as well as pest control products and post-harvest handling technologies. So there's a close linkage with the agro dealers. We register the farmers in a given area and register the agro dealers, and then working with banks and the mobile money service providers, we are able to support the farmer with up to 40%, which enables them now to access the inputs that they like. I think the challenge is one of the crops we are supporting is sorghum and Irish potatoes, and of course maize, coffee, and yeah, I think and rice. So we supporting a diversity of crops. Support for other millet, cassava could be much better because they are newer crops, and in order to promote adoption, we could push this deliberately, but we haven't for some of these crops.
Thank you very much. There is another question from the audience. A suggestion to official speakers: FAO has approved 2023 as a UN International Year of Millets. This can be an opportunity for Kenya and Africa to further develop their value chains. I think this is probably the message to all of us. I think there is already a good example that we have learned from Professor that one of them is to work on blending of flowers for these commodities, but also the seeds. Okay, I don't see any additional questions from our audience, but I just want to ask Professor, if you be switching to your other meeting, then would like to ask you to give us probably one or two remarks, basically on the take-home messages from this session, so that we don't lose any wisdom from you. Yeah, over to you, Professor.
Okay, thank you. I'll be switching over to the other meeting because I was still the chair there. But what I would like to say is that we need to invest more in agriculture because it's still the mainstay of our economies. We also need to trust more the involvement of the private sector along the various components of the value chain, from financing to input supply to the actual farming and to the other market end and the post-harvest end. I think working with the private sector will bring in efficiency. We need to reduce the role of the government here because the government is not, but it's in the business of regulating and creating an enabling environment. I think in the past, subsidy policies have distorted the market and therefore denied the private sector the opportunity to compete, which would have the effect of probably bringing the prices down. And so I think the less appetite we have for intervening in the market, the less we can experience distortion, either of commodities or of inputs like fertilizer. I think the other thing is that smallholder farming is good, and it's the largest form of farming globally, with over 500 million smallholder family farms. But I think in Africa, we need to invest a little bit more in large-scale farms, including those ASAL areas where we still have land. We invest under conservation agriculture that will still lead to good yields and food security for the country.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate these remarks.